Hello, guys, and welcome to the first Q&A session we're having on our YouTube channel. Today we have with us Denis, which is Senior Business Development Manager at CLS Global, and we're very excited to have him here and actually go over our topics. Denis, can you please provide a presentation for yourself?
Hey, glad to be here. Really, work with CLS. We are market makers and marketing consultancy agency. And again, I'm very much excited to be with SeedOn at this interview.
Great pleasure to have you as well. So I think we should just dive in on our questions. And the first question which we have ready for you is actually, when did you get first acquainted to cryptocurrencies and the blockchain?
Oh yeah, that's actually a quite funny story. So back at university, it was around 2017. One of my professors suddenly quit the job and bought a Maserati and left to live to a very fancy place. Okay. And everyone was wondering what happened to him. And because, back then, professor, they didn't make much money, certainly from Maserati. But then it turned out he was one of the investors to one of those, maybe you remember ICO startups where they're collecting money on the website. Mm-hmm. So the ICO he invested didn't scam the way, and he actually got rich on that. So right after that, I decided really to dive into that and actually got myself a job at one of those ICO companies. But I didn't get that lucky because my ICO, they basically deleted their website and left both team and the investors with nothing. But during that time, I was actually making a lot of connections with the friends in the industry, and this is basically how it all started for me.
Sounds great. Sounds great, like a very good story. From my side, actually, it was not as exciting as yours. I think I first started to hear about the blockchain and Bitcoin, in fact, in 2017, when I first started the job in my career. I just heard a colleague putting about $300 in Bitcoin. For me, at that point, it was a big amount of cash, and I didn't actually afford it. But I was very interested about it because I actually had a lot of confidence in Bitcoin, so I was curious to see what it is. I didn't put my money into it at that time, but actually I was quite lucky enough to be able to follow and read about the expansion of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. And I actually got into the space in 2020 when I actually decided to have my own startup in crypto. So that was a bit different, but yours is way more exciting.
Yeah, 2017, that was a time.
Yeah. All right, so this is great. So where do you think that the technology is heading for the next year?
Well, honestly, I think everyone agrees that the market right now is very young. And personally, I think we should be all excited to be in the beginning of the whole crypto industry. Because still, even though it has been like quite some years, the market is still only being born. Yeah. So I personally do believe that after all, it all comes to one question: whether decentralization, like true decentralization, is possible. And I guess the question depends on whether the government would step in and take the decentralization away or not. But, maybe half a year ago in Singapore, there was a big crypto event, a conference, and one of the organizers of the conference, the host, he actually gave a huge speech about where the technology is heading to. And according to him, it was the question of the adoption of blockchain technology by the government in our everyday life. So if the government manages to, include the private sector, the blockchain, into the everyday life, into the governance process, then the mass adoption, the technology breakthrough, it will be all possible. But obviously there is a long way to go, but I tend to agree with the host of the conference. And definitely this way, more projects will be able to contribute, more startups, more developers, and community members. This way we might all benefit in the future.
Yeah, definitely mass adoption is something to be looking forward to. But I think, as you have already mentioned, this is going to be very difficult to achieve. I think that's because, so from my understanding, at the macroeconomical level, you actually need to be able to adjust, the monetary amount which is in the market in order to have sufficient liquidity and fiat money to be able to move the economy. So I think this is going to be the trickier part in the mass adoption. I also saw that El Salvador, I think last year or beginning of this year, they have started to adopt Bitcoin. And that was a bit unfortunate for them because they have actually bought quite a lot of Bitcoin and then the price dropped, and now they have a few debts to cover that. So this is the challenge. I think this is very important to follow and to understand, so that for the next adoptions we have something to learn from, because they are the first ones. And usually when the first ones are starting to do that, it's most difficult because you're gonna have actually to readapt your standard protocols. But definitely something to be looking forward to, indeed.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Also, the same host, he had this, beautiful idea. He was saying that we, as a crypto people, as crypto community, we should see each other as members of crypto community. So no quarrel, of course, healthy competition, but we should be aware that all of us, we are in the same boat, building the market and growing together. This way, he had a quote like, "This way we can be a real force in this." Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
That idea does speak to me.
Definitely. And as you have suggested, I think this is the greatest part from the crypto space, because it's community oriented and community driven. So in a position to, for example, a bank or a VC where you can actually have the shares to them and that's it. Actually, community members get involved and they participate in the evolution of the project directly. So that's definitely great. And each one of us can actually make a step forward just by piece. So that's great.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so this sounds good. So what do you look for in a startup, be it either crypto or equity investment, before actually putting your money in?
Yeah, you see, we were working with many projects while they were at the fundraising stages, and as a private investor myself, as a community member myself, I had a lot of fun during the bull market. Like 2 years ago, a year ago, it was really fun because I remember the times when VCs will quarrel with each other, would argue with each other, waiting in the line to invest in a very poor quality GameFi project. So back then it wasn't that important to, due diligence, this do your own research thing, because everything was growing. But now, really, it all changed, and now we are looking into the fundamentals of every project before investing, whether it's a huge VC or just a community member. So, and I guess for both, the same rules apply, because first of all, and I guess most of the people would agree with me that the most important thing is token use case. So if a token has use case, it will be needed and people will buy it to use it. For example, if the token and if the product makes our life easier somehow, or makes our life better, or our everyday crypto work makes it more efficient, the token price will steadily but grow, maybe slowly but consistently. So for me, this is the most important part. And I guess most of the people, they try to look at it the same way, because back then price might go up because of some news or some just trading activity. But now the liquidity is much more poor than it used to be. So only needed tokens, they go and they actually raise in the value.
Yeah, that's true. Usually catalysts were the engine driving the price up before. And this is also something that I have stated from the beginning. I totally agree with you. I think that this was the main difference, I think until now, between a startup and a crypto startup, because crypto startups were not actually looking to build a business model. They were just trying to have some trading and some hype and just try to increase the price of the token. People would gain short-term profits, which is good, definitely, but it's not good for the startup itself. So as you have already mentioned, I think that's the best thing to have. So practically try to build a business, even though in the crypto space we're gonna have the cryptocurrency relying our business on. That doesn't mean it's any different from the real life startup. So I totally agree with you on this side, and it's I think it's very important. And I also think that during those times, it is something essential because people are actually a bit more diligent on their investments. They're not gonna throw their money away anymore because I think the hype is a bit gone for now. So definitely, people joining in right now, those are the good investors that we should have along with us, and we should encourage them to support our projects. So that when the next bull run is going to come, we're going to be in a solid state so we can proceed further. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Great. What do you think that crypto startups should actually focus more doing right now in the crypto winter?
Well, you see, the good side of bear market is that it taught us a lot about how we build projects and how we start a business. And one thing that it uncovered was that projects actually weren't working with their community and weren't taking care of the community.
Yeah.
Because everyone was like trying to find a VC, get some money, get on exchange, and that's all. They thought the work was done. Mm-hmm. But it turned out that the most important part of every project is actually its community. Mm-hmm. Because apparently VCs will not buy the dip, VCs will not hold, and the big players will not support your project like community would.
Yeah.
So now I think the most important part, and this is actually what's happening now in the market, projects learn to find way around the community. Mm-hmm. And they try to be responsive, to hold events, to restructure their business model to be community oriented in the first place. Yeah. So I think for now, while we're on this market, this is actually a bright side of it. And this is what startups should focus on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed, definitely. I totally agree with you. And I think this is actually the right time to build and consolidate every project's community because, as you have mentioned, those are the ones that actually support us the most. So yeah, definitely, this is another reason that we're doing this type of sessions. That is because I do believe that right now is the time, and we're actually responsible for trying to educate the investors and people that are actually looking to join the crypto space and blockchain. I think it's our responsibility to prove the fact that there are real life businesses, even though we have a cryptocurrencies and we're in the blockchain space, and that we're responsible to try to provide as much insights and information on it as possible in regard to smart contracts, what blockchain is, what cryptocurrencies are, that it's safe, that we're going to make use of the capital to build a real business, even though it's going to be decentralized, we're going to make use of those technologies. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's any different from any other conventional business. So yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind. All right, so now I just want to step a bit away from the startup space and from the crypto itself. I just want to try to understand what is your opinion in regard to team members and what is your opinion in regards to the soft skills aspect. So, for example, if you have a crypto startup and you look for having new people joining your team, what do you think it would be the most useful profile for a team member? It's gonna have to be strong on soft skills or hard skills. What do you think is the best combination for this ratio?
Well, it's actually a good question and also a tricky one because we definitely see a lot of startups and a lot of new projects and the way they hire people and collect the team and looking for founders, co-founders, and definitely I can tell that first of all, founders, they are looking for people judging by their hard skills because they need professionals in their team and they need people for certain positions, right? But I do have a good example of a project we were working together some time ago. They were from CoinMarketCap top 30 or maybe 40. A very good project, professionals, advanced product, but their team they didn't have teamwork. They didn't. The team members, they didn't vibe with each other. So, and I guess this is because of the lack of the soft skills, communication skills, and the actual teamwork. Yeah. So eventually, everyone left just do their own product or worked for some other project, but even the core team, the founders, they just, didn't vibe. So I guess both are important, and it's important to, equally develop both sides, both soft skills and hard skills.
Yeah, it definitely is. I also like this question. This is why I also wanted to ask your opinion for it, because I think it's very difficult to find the best balance into it. That is because, so for example, in our case, being a startup, you need to move fast. You need to have a high pace. You need to have people with a very strong hard skill set that they have. But as you mentioned, sometimes it may be difficult to work with them because they just like to be independent, let's call it. I think it's a good term to have that. So I think it's very difficult to have it, and I think it actually starts to differ according to the stage of the business. I do believe that in the early stages of a startup, you should have hard skilled team members. That is because you need to develop fast, and it's going to be a challenge. You need to coordinate those people, and actually you're going to have to be the glue, holding them together. And I think as the business keeps growing, you're going to have to start mixing the team with also individuals with the good soft skills, because this way they can start to take over some of your responsibilities, so they can actually start to be able to coordinate the development process forward. So yeah, I think this is very important also in relation to the evolution of the startup. But as you have mentioned, it doesn't work just one way. You're gonna have to either try to balance and.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, definitely. But it's nice to hear your opinion on this. Another question I have in regard to the professional path of each individual. What do you think that should someone in the early stages of his career focus on more? Should it be the personal development or professional development, or should it be the financial aspect and for the salary for it?
Well, I'd say for each industry is different, but the beauty of our industry is that it can be, there are various ways to grow in the industry. And I usually like to tell the story of a friend of mine, just a guy I knew before. He is from a small village in Central Asia, and he was like 14 maybe when he got into crypto, and he was working as a community manager for one of projects that was quite famous, but he wasn't just be a community manager. He always tried to talk to people who texted him, resolve a lot of issues, and discuss partnerships. And then just in 3 years, he built a huge network of people and became like a CMO of the same project. And then he started working as an advisor. So basically, now what he does is he connects people with the right people, and if someone needs a good developer, a good listing, or to raise funds, they come to him, and he just has his interest in it. So now he makes crazy money monthly, being 17 years old. So he's quite a respected advisor, actually, yeah. So I don't know what he was focusing on, but he was definitely working on his personal development, professional development, and soft skills.
And if it's not too personal, how about yourself? What did you first look for when you got a job?
Well, for me, I guess I was trying to learn as much as I could, because in crypto, as boring as it sounds, knowledge is power. And the more you know, the better, the easier for you is to learn in the future, because the industry keeps changing, the trends, they keep changing. So first it was ICOs, GameFi, meme coins, a lot of things, and you have to always stay up to date. So I guess this is the most important part when you start building your career in crypto.
Yeah, that sounds good. Also,
what do you say?
Yeah, I think it's the same. So from my side, it was basically the same thing. I don't know why I was there, but I also just struggled and tried to learn as much as possible to become as good as I can into a specific field. And I think that everyone should have this focus, from my opinion, because if you're going to be good at what you're doing, money is going to come and you're going to become financially stable. That's a given. I think that's a secondary aspect. Of course, it's important, but I think people should focus more on building themselves. because on the long run, you have more opportunities. You're going to have actually more confidence in your skills. I think that's the most important thing to do. Because, for example, when I started my career, I had two options. So I either would choose I'll choose a job position which is going to be a bit more agile, is going to be a bit more dynamic, so I can actually switch contexts and learn as much as possible, but with a very small payment. Or I would go into a multinational company, I would do maintenance, and that's it, just practically wasting my time, and I'll get a bigger salary. But I actually chosen the first one because I just thought that, right, I'm in the beginning, I have to learn, I'm going to be able to make money in the future, so I'm just going to focus on this more. And I think that actually is the best thing to do as a decision in the early stages. That's why I totally agree with what you have said.
Certainly.
Yeah. That's that also advise anyone if they actually are looking to. So if anyone watching right now is having the same decision to make, like they have a good salary into a let's say maintenance position, that they're not going to have that much involvement into the business, or you can actually do something which is going to work you off very, very bad, but you're going to have a lot of things to learn from, but it's a smaller payment. Just go with smaller payment. That's going to benefit you 20 times more than the first one. So, right, and now I'm gonna have the last question asked to you. What is the most significant mistake you have made in your entire career, and what did you learn from it, and how can others actually learn from your mistakes and avoid making it themselves?
Well, to be honest, I was never a patient guy, and when it comes to investments, to trading, or to anything, crypto related, patience is very important. And decisions that are made in a rush, they actually cost you money.
Mm-hmm.
So passing on good opportunities because you didn't have patience to wait on them is one of the things I regret. However, my advice would be not to be concentrating on your mistakes and on the money loss, because for me, it might be different for other people, but for me, it's hard to learn from others' mistakes. And the most experience I got in the industry was when I was actually losing money, like investing in bad projects, not doing my due diligence. It actually taught me a lot. When the more I lost, the more I learned, actually. And I guess this is, if you really want to learn fast and efficient, the best way is to lose your money.
That's a very good advice, indeed. So you heard that, right? If you want to learn, you have to first with money, and then you're going to be able to make good profits. But that's actually how it works. That's very true. Yeah, indeed. Right. Well, I think this actually concludes our session today. Thank you very much, Denis, for your time and for your amazing, insightful answers. That was very great, and a pleasure to have you on board.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Great. Well, guys, thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, just put those in the comment section below. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And see you for next sessions. Bye.